strange anomaly on top of the Bosnian Pyramid. High above the green landscape of central Bosnia, a strange and unsettling marking has drawn renewed attention to one of the most debated archaeological sites on Earth. At the summit of what is known as the Bosnian Sun Pyramid, a clearly defined white stone circle sits within three angular concrete borders, forming a geometric pattern that appears deliberate and unmistakably constructed. This feature, visible from a bird's-eye perspective, has intensified speculation surrounding the true nature, age, and purpose of the Bosnian pyramids. The Bosnian pyramids are located near the town of Visoko, roughly 30 kilometers northwest of Sarajevo. The site consists of a massive complex of 5 pyramid-shaped formations, each aligned with notable precision. While the pyramids of Giza in Egypt are widely regarded as icons of ancient engineering, supporters of the Bosnian site argue that these structures are equally impressive in scale and possibly far older. According to local archaeologists, the Bosnian pyramids may date back at least 30,000 years, placing their construction roughly 20,000 years earlier than the timeline commonly taught in modern history. If this claim is accurate, it would radically reshape humanity's understanding of early civilization. Such an age would place the pyramids deep into a period when humans were believed to be simple hunter-gatherers, lacking the organizational structure or technological ability to build monumental stone architecture. Yet the Bosnian site continues to present anomalies that challenge those assumptions, with the marking at the summit standing out as one of the most curious. From above, the structure appears as a white circular stone feature embedded precisely at the apex of the pyramid. Surrounding it are 3 clean, straight concrete borders forming a triangular enclosure. The geometry is sharp and intentional, contrasting starkly with the natural terrain around it. This feature does not resemble erosion, natural rock formation, or modern debris. Its placement at the highest point of the pyramid suggests significance, possibly ceremonial, energetic, or symbolic in nature. What makes the marking even more intriguing is the apparent lack of documentation. While countless images of the Bosnian pyramids circulate online, detailed photographs of this summit feature are rare and often unclear. The absence of widespread imagery has fueled speculation that the structure has either been overlooked, deliberately ignored, or quietly altered over time. Those who have observed it through satellite imagery report that it appears fixed and long-standing, not temporary or recently added. Supporters of the pyramid theory believe the marking may represent a focal point, possibly related to energy flow or astronomical alignment. Some propose that the circular stone could function as a capstone or node, interacting with underground tunnels and chambers believed to exist beneath the pyramid complex. Others suggest it may have served as a platform for observation, signaling, or ritual activity designed to interact with the sky itself. The fact that the structure is clearly man-made leaves little doubt that it serves a purpose, even if that purpose remains unknown. Its symmetry, materials, and exact placement argue against coincidence. Instead, the marking strengthens the argument that the Bosnian pyramids were carefully designed structures, not natural hills reshaped by imagination. Mysterious trail camera photo. This strange trail camera photograph has become a source of deep unease among those who have seen it, offering a glimpse into something that appears both familiar and profoundly unnatural. The image was captured after a group of deer hunters placed a motion-activated camera in a wooded area, intending to monitor wildlife activity over several weeks. When the footage was later reviewed, one particular snapshot stood out immediately, not because of the deer in the foreground, but because of what appeared behind it. In the image, a deer is clearly visible, standing calmly in front of the camera. Its posture shows no signs of distress, alarm, or sudden movement. This detail alone has proven to be one of the most unsettling aspects of the photograph. Deer are known for their heightened awareness and tendency to flee at the slightest unfamiliar sound or presence. Yet in this image, the animal appears completely at ease, as if whatever stood behind it posed no threat, or was something it recognized as part of its environment. Behind the deer, partially obscured by darkness, is a tall, shadowed figure with glowing eyes that reflect the camera's infrared light. The shape appears upright, with proportions that do not match any known wildlife native to the region. The eyes seem positioned higher than expected for most animals, and the outline of the figure gives the impression of a humanoid form rather than that of a bear or other large mammal. This has led many observers to associate the figure with accounts of Bigfoot, a being long rumoured to inhabit remote forests and avoid direct human contact. Others have gone further, suggesting the figure resembles a shapeshifter, something capable of altering its appearance or existing between familiar forms. The facial structure, partially visible in the grainy image, appears distorted and unnatural, as if caught mid-transition or partially concealed. The glowing eyes add to this impression, giving the figure a watchful, aware presence rather than a purely animal one. What strengthens the argument that this is a real and unknown creature is the behavior of the deer itself. The lack of fear suggests coexistence rather than surprise. Some believe this indicates the creature has long inhabited the area and that local wildlife has grown accustomed to its presence. Rather than reacting as prey would to a predator or unknown threat, the deer remains still, almost indifferent. The trail camera image offers no clear explanation, only a moment frozen in time that defies easy interpretation. It does not present a dramatic confrontation or sudden movement, but instead a quiet scene that feels wrong in subtle ways. The figure remains just hidden enough to avoid certainty, yet clear enough to resist dismissal. The mysterious disc seen above Chile. On the afternoon of the 24th of January, 2026, at approximately 4 in the afternoon, residents of Curaraju, a quiet commune in southern Chile's Araucania region, experienced a moment that would leave a lasting impression on the community. What began as an ordinary day of leisure quickly transformed into an encounter with something wholly unexpected when a strange aerial object appeared above the landscape. The sighting took place near the community stadium, where local residents were enjoying recreational activities under clear skies. Without warning, attention was drawn upward as a disc-shaped object came into view. Its presence was immediately striking. Unlike any conventional aircraft familiar to the witnesses, the object appeared smooth, metallic, and symmetrical, reflecting light in a way that made its outline unmistakable against the blue sky. According to those present, the object moved with an unusual grace and speed. It traveled steadily for a brief moment, allowing observers to clearly register its shape and position. Then, in a sudden change that defied expectations, it executed a rapid maneuver unlike anything produced by helicopters, airplanes, or drones. Within seconds, it accelerated and vanished from sight, leaving behind confusion and astonishment among the onlookers. One of the most significant aspects of this event was the clarity with which it was documented. Fermin Panguilef managed to capture photographs of the object as it crossed the sky. The resulting images show a sharply defined disc-like form, darker at its center and lighter along its edges, suspended at an angle that suggests controlled movement rather than passive drifting. The photos quickly began circulating online, drawing attention well beyond Curaraju and prompting intense discussion across social media platforms. Another witness, Joaquin Brevis Morales, later described the experience as deeply surprising. The object was not distant or vague, but clearly visible, moving at a range that allowed its form to be distinguished without difficulty. The fact that multiple people observed the same behavior at the same time added weight to the event and reinforced the impression that this was not a visual illusion. What makes the Curaraju sighting particularly compelling is the combination of clear daylight conditions, multiple witnesses, and photographic evidence. The object's abrupt disappearance remains unexplained, as does its origin. No conventional explanation has accounted for its appearance or its sudden departure. Strange object seen near our sun. The appearance of a strange object near the sun has sparked renewed fascination and unease within UFO research communities, largely due to the sheer scale and apparent proximity of the object to one of the most extreme environments in the solar system. The photograph in question was captured by the Solar and Heliospheric Observatory, a spacecraft stationed at a stable gravitational point between the Earth and the Sun. Its purpose has always been strictly scientific, tasked with monitoring solar activity, tracking solar wind, and providing early warnings of powerful solar events that could affect satellites, communications, and electrical systems on Earth. Over the years, the observatory has transmitted countless images of solar flares, coronal mass ejections, and the turbulent outer atmosphere of the Sun. However, Among this vast archive are a small number of images that appear to show objects that do not resemble any known solar phenomenon. This particular photograph has drawn special attention because of its clarity and the unmistakable shape of the object it appears to capture. The image shows what looks like a large, smooth silver disk positioned near the Sun's outer atmosphere. The object appears symmetrical, with defined edges and a reflective surface that contrasts sharply with the chaotic, glowing plasma surrounding it. Unlike solar flares or plasma arcs, which have irregular and constantly shifting shapes, this object maintains a consistent form. Its presence seems deliberate rather than the result of natural solar processes. What makes this sighting especially compelling is the environment in which the object appears. The Sun's outer layers reach temperatures that would instantly overwhelm any known human-made material. Conventional spacecraft are designed to observe the Sun from a safe distance, relying on heat shields and careful positioning to avoid damage. Yet this object appears to be hovering alarmingly close, seemingly unaffected by the intense heat and radiation. For many observers, this suggests a level of technological sophistication far beyond current human capabilities. The observatory itself was never intended to search for or document unidentified objects. Its instruments are calibrated to study light, particles, and magnetic fields emitted by the Sun. This lends additional weight to the image, as it was not captured intentionally or under unusual settings. The object appears incidentally, recorded during routine observation, which makes its presence all the more intriguing. Researchers who have examined the photograph note that the disk does not match known artifacts such as camera glitches, cosmic rays, or image processing anomalies. Its size, when compared to surrounding solar features, suggests it would be enormous by terrestrial standards. This scale has led to speculation that the object may be designed to interact directly with solar energy, possibly drawing power or conducting operations within an environment hostile to conventional technology. For those who view the image as genuine, the implications are profound. A craft capable of operating near the Sun would represent an understanding of physics, materials, and energy far beyond what is currently known. It raises the possibility that advanced technology, perhaps not of human origin, may be present within the solar system, quietly observing or utilizing our star. The mysterious Ongamira image. This strange photograph associated with the Ongamira region of Argentina has become one of the most compelling visual records linked to encounters with what many describe as beings of light. Taken in a remote, rocky landscape marked by caves, cliffs, and dense vegetation, the image appears to show several bright white humanoid figures standing calmly among a small group of people. Their presence is striking, not only because of their intense luminosity, but because they appear solid, upright, and deliberately positioned rather than fleeting or accidental. The Ongamira region has long been surrounded by local legends and oral traditions that speak of unusual encounters. For generations, stories have circulated about luminous entities appearing in caves and ravines, often described as guardians, visitors, or watchers. According to local accounts, these beings are not aggressive or threatening, but observant and silent, appearing briefly before vanishing without trace. The photograph seems to echo these stories with uncanny accuracy. In the image, the figures appear as tall, human-shaped forms composed entirely of light. Their outlines are smooth and symmetrical, with no visible facial features, clothing, or physical details beyond their humanoid shape. Despite their brightness, they do not seem to cast harsh reflections or distort the surrounding environment. Instead, they appear integrated into the scene, standing naturally on the rocky ground as if they belong there. What makes the photograph particularly compelling is the interaction implied between the human figures and the luminous entities. The people in the image do not appear to be running, pointing, or reacting with visible alarm. Their posture suggests calm observation rather than panic. This has led many to believe that the encounter was peaceful and possibly expected, as though the presence of the beings was not entirely unfamiliar to those present. The brightness of the figures has been described as different from ordinary light sources. It is not harsh or blinding, but soft and uniform, almost as if the light originates from within rather than reflecting from an external source. This detail has contributed to the idea that these entities are not mechanical or technological in appearance, but energetic or biological in a way not currently understood. As the image circulated online, it quickly gained attention within communities interested in unexplained phenomena. Many noted that while images of alleged encounters are often blurry or indistinct, this photograph presents clear silhouettes and consistent shapes. The repetition of similar forms across different frames has strengthened the belief that the figures are genuine presences rather than photographic anomalies. Supporters of the authenticity of the image argue that it represents a rare moment when such beings allowed themselves to be seen and recorded. They suggest that the Ongamira region may be a place of unique geological or energetic properties, making it a focal point for these appearances. The caves and rock formations may serve as natural gateways or meeting points between worlds. The photograph does not offer definitive answers, but it does present a powerful visual that aligns closely with long-standing local lore. For those who accept the image as genuine, it stands as evidence that humanity is not alone in its environment, and that encounters with other forms of intelligence may occur quietly, without spectacle or conflict. The Ongamira photograph remains a haunting reminder that there are still places on Earth where the boundary between the known and the unknown feels thin. The mysterious Duhan photograph. The image known as the 2013 Duhan photograph has remained one of the most debated and unsettling trail camera captures in recent memory. Taken on the morning of the 29th of June, 2013, at approximately 8 o'clock, the photograph was recorded by a motion-activated camera placed in a wooded area for wildlife observation. At first glance, the image appears ordinary, showing a quiet forest scene with birds in the foreground. However, a closer examination reveals a shadowy, upright figure in the distance that has fueled years of speculation. The camera was clearly triggered by crows moving through the foreground, which explains the timing of the photograph. What makes the image extraordinary is what appears farther back in the frame. Near a wooden hunting blind, a tall, dark figure stands fully upright, partially obscured by distance and vegetation. The figure's presence is unmistakable, yet deeply ambiguous. Importantly, images taken just moments before and after this photograph show no such figure in the same location. This rules out the possibility of shifting shadows, lighting anomalies, or camera artifacts. Whatever appears in the image was physically present and capable of movement. Observers have noted that the figure's posture is rigid and vertical, consistent with a standing being rather than an animal caught mid-stride. The shoulders appear broad, giving the impression of significant upper body width. This detail alone has led many to conclude that the figure is either a human or something closely resembling one. However, the context of the location and the lack of any known person in the area at the time complicate that explanation. The foreground vegetation contributes to an optical illusion that makes the lower half of the figure appear bent at the knees, though closer analysis suggests this effect is caused by overlapping plants rather than the figure's posture. Enhanced and magnified versions of the image reveal subtle tonal variations across the upper torso, which some interpret as shadows consistent with pectoral muscles or possibly breasts. These details, while faint, appear consistently across enhancements, suggesting they are part of the figure rather than random noise. Another striking feature is a lighter area on the face. This luminous patch may represent exposed skin on the forehead and cheeks, contrasting with darker surrounding areas that could be hair or shadow. The face itself is indistinct, yet the contrast gives the impression of a forward-facing gaze, adding to the unsettling nature of the image. The proximity of the figure to the wooden hunting blind is particularly significant. Because the blind has remained in the same position and retains the same dimensions today as it did at the time of the photograph, it provides a reliable reference for scale. Using this reference, analysts estimate that the figure stands taller than an average human, though not impossibly so. This height estimation keeps both human and Bigfoot interpretations within the realm of possibility. What elevates the Duhan photograph beyond a simple curiosity is the combination of factors working together. The timing, the absence of the figure in adjacent frames, the upright posture, and the apparent anatomical features all point toward a living organism rather than an environmental coincidence. The figure did not linger, nor did it appear again, suggesting awareness and movement rather than randomness. The mysterious Baker Hot Springs image. This strange photograph taken at Baker Hot Springs has quickly become the focus of intense discussion, as it appears to capture a figure that does not resemble any known human or animal. The image was posted to social media by a hiker who asked the public for help identifying what she had photographed. Taken on the 13th of January, the photograph shows a solitary figure standing on the barren terrain near the geothermal area, silhouetted against a pale sky in a way that feels both simple and deeply unsettling. Baker Hot Springs is located in western Utah, roughly 140 miles southwest of Salt Lake City, near the small town of Delta. The area is known for its stark beauty, open land, and geothermal features that draw visitors seeking isolation and natural warmth. Steam vents, mineral-rich ground, and wide open horizons give the landscape an almost otherworldly quality. It was in this environment that the hiker encountered something entirely unexpected. According to her account, her attention was drawn to a tall, slender figure slowly approaching across the uneven ground. At first, she believed it might be another hiker moving through the area. However, as the figure came closer into view, her curiosity quickly turned into confusion. The being's proportions appeared wrong. Its body was narrow and upright, yet its head was elongated and bulbous, far larger than what would be expected of a human figure at that distance. The most disturbing detail, as described by the hiker, was the face. The eyes appeared large and almond-shaped, positioned in a way that did not resemble human anatomy. There was no visible hair, clothing detail, or recognizable gear that would suggest a person exploring the hot springs. The figure appeared to stand still, as though observing the hiker rather than passing through the area. The photograph itself has become central to the discussion because of its clarity. While many images of unusual encounters are blurred or distorted, this one stands out for being relatively sharp and well-defined. The outline of the figure is clear, and the proportion of the head compared to the body is unmistakable. This has led many viewers to conclude that the image captures something genuinely anomalous rather than a trick of light, distance, or perspective. Online commentators have pointed out that reports of strange beings have been increasing in frequency, with sightings emerging from remote landscapes around the world. This incident is considered especially significant because it includes photographic evidence that aligns closely with the eyewitness description. The image shows a figure standing upright, facing the camera, with a head shape that appears far too large to be dismissed as a simple illusion. Observers have emphasized that while not every unusual claim deserves attention, those supported by tangible evidence represent an important step forward. In this case, the photograph serves as a physical record of the encounter, allowing others to examine and assess what was seen. The consistency between the hiker's description and the visible features in the image has added weight to the account. As of now, no conventional explanation fully accounts for the figure's appearance. The setting, the posture, and the proportions challenge familiar categories. Whether the figure represents an unknown being, a rare natural phenomenon, or something entirely new, the photograph from Baker Hot Springs stands as a compelling reminder that unexplained encounters continue to occur in places where few people expect them.